What's up, Ravens fans? We are on the eve of free agency, so there's no questions at all right now. No one has anything that they want to know about. And actually, there's a ton of questions, and we're going to try to get to the ones that make the most sense right now, so let's just jump right in. This first question is actually draft-related, just on the heels of the Combine. Sir D6 wants to know, will we address the aging and dwindling pass rusher issue in the first round of this year's draft?
Yeah, I think there's a good chance that the Ravens could take a pass rusher in the first round. To me, they've been looking for that stud outside linebacker to eventually take over for Terrell Suggs down the road. And this year could be the year to do that. I mean, there's just so much talent up top that you can get a guy who even could step in for Elvis Dumervil right now and then eventually take over for Suggs, be a situational guy. There's so many names. Let me just run through them real quick here for you, Garrett. There's Taco Charlton out of Michigan. You got to love the name alone with him.
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesdays would be off the chain in Baltimore.
Yeah.
There's Tim Williams from Alabama. There's Derek Barnett from Tennessee. There's Charles Harris from Missouri. There's Tack McKinley from UCLA. Did I leave anybody else?
Solomon Thomas, Stanford.
Solomon Thomas from Stanford. There are so many guys who are not only good pass rushers, but elite talents who you say, this guy could be a Pro Bowler. So if you're going to find that Suggs replacement, I think this year could be the year to do it.
There's also a need at corner, so I'm going to put you on the spot, a little improvise here. This isn't one of the questions, but do you prefer corner or pass rusher in the first round?
Oh, immediate need cornerback, but I think that the Ravens are a team that builds from within and builds in the trenches. And if you have an ability, both are premier positions, but if you have an ability to get that guy, a Terrell Suggs kind of player, if that's out there, I kind of prefer that.
Yeah, if they get a stud at either of those positions, it'll be good.
Either way is good.
Yeah. The next question comes from Chris Ortle, and the question is, who will replace Rick Wagner at right tackle if he walks in free agency? Well, we'll find out what happens with Rick this week, obviously. So I'll start with the in-house candidates first, if he were to leave. There's Alex Lewis, the fourth-round pick from last year, who played left guard and left tackle last season when Ronnie Stanley was hurt. He could potentially slide out there to the right side and play right tackle. I think he has the ability. With that said, I mean, he did okay at left tackle last year.
I just don't see it happening.
But I don't think that I'm going to see him doing that. I think the Ravens want to keep him on the left side right there next to Ronnie Stanley, have a really good core protecting Joe Flacco's blind side for years to come. Then you have some other guys that are unproven. You're talking about Stephon Nambot. He was an undrafted guy last year. You have DeAndre Wesley, who was an undrafted guy a couple of years ago. The Ravens like them. They think they have a lot of ability. They're big boys.
Athletic guys.
And what the Ravens have said is they want to get bigger on the offensive line. And those are two big boys that they could take a look there. The other thing, too, is that Rick Wagner was a fifth-round pick. Maybe you go out there and you look in the fourth, fifth round for an offensive lineman. The other thing, too, is maybe they go in free agency and get a veteran. You know, Vlad Ducasse was a guy who started a bunch of games for the Ravens last year. A little tougher to get free agent tackles as opposed to guards, especially on the cheap. But maybe they get a veteran in there, also pair him up with like a fourth or fifth round pick, and they see who wins that battle in training camp.
Yeah, so many things can change. Guys get cut. A lot of things can happen. So our last question comes from Lawrence Larry, and he asks, if we lose Kyle Juszczyk to free agency, who do you see the Ravens replacing him with? Is it the draft, picking up another free agent fullback, or one of our current running backs beefing up, taking on more of the fullback role? Well, it's kind of similar to your Rick Wagner question. To me, if Juszczyk leaves, the number one place I look to is the draft. There's a kid out of Florida State who I really like, Freddie Stevenson. 6th-round guy, maybe 7th-round pick. You could go that way. To me, probably a fullback who has a little bit like Juszczyk coming out of Harvard did. He can catch the ball, he can run a little bit, somewhat of a hybrid role. I think that you could find a fullback in the draft. One name that just pops into my head is Mike Tolbert. Was released by the Carolina Panthers. He's a former Pro Bowl fullback, but he's not great in run blocking, and I feel like the Ravens want somebody that can kind of pave the way for this ground game that they want to really revitalize this upcoming season. So most likely I say draft, possible free agent addition.
All right, so there's a lot of balls up in the air right now. A lot of things that are going to happen over the next 24, 48 hours, this entire week. So to stay on top of all the news, make sure you have the Ravens app downloaded. Turn on those push notifications. As soon as we know something, you will know it, and make sure you're coming back to the website and the app all week long to stay on top of the news. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.